our other 2A team that's still left, Bremond.
The
So
Bremond Tigers.
yeah, the Bremond Tigers, they actually finished outside of the top 10 in the state rankings to end the regular season. But Bremond is still playing while several teams that were in those rankings are not. Um,
I covered the Bremond Mart game as the
yeah.
district opener. I look back on it now and everything that the way March season went, I think how did Bremond lose that game?
Mm,
It doesn't make sense.
doesn't
Um,
compute. Well,
yeah,
my question was, have people underestimated Bremond this year?
well, and I think they have. I think they were the best team in that district. Of course, they lost to Grapeland on the road on September 6th, and then that's a game that they avenged. You know, that they avenged it the right way or in with emphasis the other night, 45-14. So I was just impressed when they were playing Mart, how many playmakers they had because, like when we were breaking down Hamilton and Axtell last week, and we're talking about him just now. I mean, Hamilton would love to have some of the offensive stars that Bremond has. The other thing is Bremond's been operating with a freshman quarterback. So from going from playing eighth grade football to playing Grapeland and Mart in the first month of the season,
Mm.
that's a big step. And so I have a feeling that Sam Kozowski, I believe, has really made strides.
They've also got Tank Scott and Eddie Carazales. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I feel like those two guys alone, when you talk about guys that make a difference, you got to think about those guys. But it is really impressive to have a freshman quarterback and still be playing a state semifinal, especially with like the numbers he's tossed up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, for sure, I think the Tigers have been underestimated, and part of that is because, they're playing Mart, right? They're playing, these teams that have historically been top 10 teams year in, year out, have been, playing in December for a decade. Um, but yeah, I think when we were previewing that district and talking to Kevin Hoffman, he was like, this game shouldn't be the first district game.
Mm.
Mark Bremont should have been scheduled. I don't know why they scheduled it that way. He didn't know why they scheduled it that way. But you know, you I'm gonna take a note, I guess, from Jeff Rogers at Marlin when I was talking to him early in the season is like your goal as a football team is to be better next week than you were the week before and to be playing your best football now, right? So,
That
I
feels
mean,
like Bremond. Yeah.
yeah, that does feel like Bremond. I feel like, I mean, they did play some tough teams. Mart did play them tough. Goldthwait was tough. Wortham was tough. Grapeland was obviously tough in the non-district schedule. And they were, pretty deep in the playoffs. Um, I feel like Bremond has a chance to go play at that state title game, and maybe even win the title.
So Jeff Kozowski has 3 state championships to his credit. Those were in the Rashad Paul days. Chad remembers those well. Those were fun Bremond teams to cover. So it's not like he hasn't, it's not like he's forgotten how, what it takes to win a state championship. Um, Obviously, you get a tough Shiner team, a state ranked Shiner team, but kind of along the same lines as La Vega. It sounds like I think we think Bremont is pretty battle tested because of its schedule. And I think, I think I'm taking the Tigers in this one. DJ, I loved your line from your column where you were pontificating about the greatest beverage on earth coming out of Shiner or something like that, and also wondering why they weren't like the Shiner beer makers or the Shiner brewskis or whatever. Just maybe the Shiner box. They just
hmm
maybe that should be their mascot.
You
I think
know, it,
Chad could get on board, right?
yeah, I don't drink that much Shiner anymore. But one thing, the great John Warner, when he ordered a beer, he said, "I'll have a bock."
I'll have a Bach. I like it. I like
Mm-hmm.
it. I could not help but think about our friend John Werner as I've been seeing these commercials for the Bob Dylan movie because
Oh, for sure,
he
for
would have
sure.
loved to have watched that.